Hey guys, what's up? It's Christian and Corey, and we are Super Kami Guru 9000, and we are here to review Naruto Chapter 538. Well, the chapter starts off with Naruto just running to war, and B's behind him like, hell yeah! And my tongue is blue, and then Naruto gets this like speech bubble, and it pulls him inside himself to the fox, waiting to have a conversation.
And we get an interesting thing with the Fox this week. I don't know if anybody noticed it but me, but there was something about the Kyuubi's personality this week in the way that it was drawn. It seems as if it was a little less aggressive and a little bit more subdued in its personality.
We'll get back to that later, though.
All right, it's time for the Kyuubi and his big little talk. It's interesting because this time the Kyuubi actually contacts Naruto, and like we were saying earlier, his personality is a little bit more subdued this time, and it's obvious that he's trying to take control of Naruto again. And he's doing that by trying to instill doubts in him. Basically, he's just letting him know, you do realize you're not going to be able to do anything about Sasuke, right? You're never going to get rid of this darkness in you. You're just like Nagato. You're just like pain. While he's saying all this, Naruto's just sort of shrugging it off like it's no big deal. And he does that cool little thing where, he like turns towards the camera or turns towards the page and like half his face is darkened. And he basically lets the Kyuubi know, don't underestimate me. And this is a good thing for Naruto because it pretty much shows that he's just about taking control of the Kyuubi.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what happens. I mean, we could go in-depth in this talk, but at the end of the day, it's just another person saying, Naruto, you can't achieve your dreams. And Naruto's like, well, fuck that, I can. On to the flashback we go. And it is one with Naruto and everyone else training, or not really training, they're doing a little sparring match. And it's cool because we get to see some characters we hadn't seen in their little people form before. And it's just a standard flashback. But the flashback does show us what the finger thing means. Oh, okay. So that is like the traditional thing that you do at the beginning of a sparring match to say that we are still brothers, comrades from the same village, or, just saying this is just a friendly sparring match.
Now, the problem, I have with this scene in general is that I'm glad that they addressed it because we all know this famous scene from when Naruto and Sasuke had their battle at the Valley of the End. And, as their two hits attacked, they did that thing and everybody was just kind of like, they could have shaked hands or something, whatever. I guess there's some meaning behind it. And we finally learned the meaning, and apparently it's a traditional thing you do in your sparring. If that's the case, then how come in the series when we see all these other Konoha ninjas sparring and everything, particularly the tuning exams, do they never do that?
It's kind of like what were you saying earlier when we were talking about this chapter? It was kind of just this stuff they shoved into this chapter to buffer.
This chapter is canon filler. It's canon in the sense that it's actually what happened, but it's filler in the simplest sense that it's just here to buffer time and give the author a chance to create some more interesting stories.
Yeah, he needed, probably this week, he needed some more time to figure out what fight he's going to start next week, or if he's going to have Naruto show up, or we're going to get back to Gaara, or we're going to get back to Kakashi. He wasn't sure yet. So instead, we got this flashback kind of chapter in the Kyuubi conversation.
And don't get me wrong, I'm glad that they finally explained what that thing was. Let's face it, it's all sort of confused us a little. But I just wish that the explanation was a little more plausible. Made a little more sense.
So we go back to Naruto and the Kyuubi, and the Kyuubi is pretty much reiterating what he said, a little more specifically this time, though, saying, you haven't been able to save Sasuke over all these years, so what makes you think you're going to be able to save everyone, the world essentially, in this war? You are one person. What can you do to make a difference?
And it's funny because Naruto, you see him, he's sitting there pondering about it. And then he calmly says, come here. And he walks up and he uses the Luke Skywalker method, and he allows the Kyuubi to sort of walk out a little bit, and he slams the gate right down on top of him.
Go! Damn you, Naruto! So after Naruto's like, bad Kyuubi, and sprays it with a water bottle a few times, the chapter comes to a close with Naruto getting up in the eye of the Kyuubi and saying, I'll do something about Sasuke, and I'll do something about this stupid war. So, there we go. That's the end of the chapter, Naruto chapter 538. So, I like this chapter. Actually, I always say I like this chapter, but this chapter actually wasn't that great. Not saying it's a horrible chapter, because we did get to see the Kyuubi, we did get a good flashback, and we got the fingers explained. But, what really was there? How much entertainment was there in this chapter? Not much, in my opinion. So, what do you think, though, Corey?
I agree. I'm surprised how quickly only 17 pages can go by. Like you said, there were really only two main points of the chapter, which was the flashback and the whole bit with the Kyuubi at the end. But I swear I read this in like 50 seconds.
Yeah.
Just everything flew by, and the flashback just felt like it really didn't need to be there, almost like it didn't need to be explained. It's like I said earlier, this is canon filler. This is just, something a little extra to tide you over.
Yeah, and so for rating on this chapter, we're going to give it a 6 out of 10. Only because wasn't much there. I mean, take it as you will. If you think this chapter was super awesome, just tell us why in a comment, because maybe we didn't see something in the 17 pages that seemed to disappear right by us. And so we can only hope for next week's chapter to be awesome, and we think since this was a filler one, we're going to find a lot more content in next week's chapter.
I mean, there's plenty of Edo Tensei zombies, to go around.
Yeah, so let's see someone fight.
All right, guys, here we go. We got 2 questions for you this week. Question for me is about the Kyuubi. From seeing this week's chapter, do you think that Naruto and his special training has actually allowed the Kyuubi to become more purified and actually become a better, demon compared to like the one the Eight Tails has? And he'll be able to have better control with it. Let us know below. Definitely.
And then the other question I want to ask you guys is, what fight do you think is going to happen next chapter? Rock Lee. Or, I'm down with seeing Gaara fight. I mean, something. I just want to see some fights happen. This is a war, not a conversation piece, even though that's what it's kind of turned into. So let us know, you guys, with a comment below about what you think about our 2 questions. So, you guys, until next time, Super Kami Guru 9000 out.